It's Baby and Mary, we know you have been waiting, so here's another podcast about movies. Burn after watching.
Welcome, everyone, to the Burn After Watching podcast. I'm Borderland.
And I'm Mary.
And today we are a week late because we wanted to talk about Kinds of Kindness, the new Yorgos Lanthimos film.
Yes.
So we took a little bit of a extra week to get there because the film was supposed to release last week, got scheduled for this week. That's
and
what it
here
is.
we are.
Yes, we are fresh off.
Yeah, we literally were in theater like 2 hours ago.
Yes, so it's going to be off the cuff.
Let's go.
But first, find us on Instagram, YouTube, podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, all the podcast places. We are there. Find us, follow. Also, we will spoil everything. There's not that much spoiler, I think, but we're going to be talking about the entire film. So if you haven't seen it and if you care, maybe just wait it out. Come back once you've seen it so you can kind of be part of the conversation, understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Just so you know, this is a spoiler discussion. Just to get started, context.
Mm-hmm.
This is an anthology, which means that we have 3 short film as part of the Kinds of Kindness film. Basically, Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Willem Dafoe, Chau.
Margaret Qualley.
All of them have role in each story. They play new characters in each short film. All of them are about 50 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll talk about them in section, I guess.
I don't know. You don't love when there's...
It's not
you
my
didn't
favorite
love, like,
thing.
the format.
Anthology, it's one of those things where I think by default, some of them, like everyone have their own taste. So it means that some of them you won't like as much as others.
Like, I understand what you mean, but to me, though, like, one of the first things I said to you when we came out of the room is, I thought, like, what are you laughing about? The room.
The theater.
Yeah, was that the bigger theme made so much sense and was there through the 3 parts.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a cult aspect, dominance, religion, what people are willing to do to get love from other people. Acceptance. So to me, that was really powerful.
Yeah.
Through the whole like movie, but I understand what you mean. And there is one part that I didn't like as much, and you too. So yeah, not a fan
I
either
think
with the format.
Having the same director helps. Some often anthology, you'll have different director doing like a short each. Yeah.
Okay.
My issues is I think this could have been one film. Just a normal, like I think all 3 of those stories are strong enough to have an extra 40 minutes and be interesting.
Oh yeah.
And like be a film individually.
Yeah, to me, see the second part, so let's go into it.
Okay.
It's Jesse Plemons, that his wife goes missing. She's like on a boat on a mission. And she goes missing.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally she comes back home and he gets suspicious that it's not his wife. He's unsure.
Yeah.
There's details that make him believe that it's not her.
Yeah.
And it gets really crazy when she cuts off her thumb when he asks her because he's refusing to eat. And then it goes on. And to me, that part was my least favorite. And I don't think there could have been a whole movie out of that part.
See,
really.
I really like that one. It's not my favorite, but I mean, it could be my favorite. It's kind of hard. It's kind of like too fresh for now. Mm-hmm. But I really like that one because I thought that it did very well this line between, is she actually who she is, his wife, but he has mental issue or depression or stress related issue because other part of his life are also falling apart.
Yeah.
In his job, he's a cop. But also there's things that's like, well, maybe it isn't her. And I really like this ambiguity. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like hitting kind of that spot for me, like similar to The Lighthouse, where like there's this doubt.
Yeah.
There's this thing that you don't know and it's not told to you. And it's living things up to you. And I like that. And I like the setting. It's creepy in a super odd way because nothing is technically like scary.
No.
But it's kind of like there's this weird feeling that like you can't trust anyone.
Well, and it's between them two that he's so suspicious towards her that you as a viewer kind of have a doubt towards her as well.
Yep.
And then shit hits the fan when he doesn't want to eat anymore.
Yeah.
And she's like, what can I make you? You know, what can I get ready for you? Do you want meat? Do you want fish? And then it all starts at that moment.
Yeah. But like, see, there's a cannibal aspect to that story.
Not really, because he doesn't eat the finger.
No, but she says, oh, he asked her, like, how did you survive? And she says, oh, on fruit. And then she says, on animals. And then she says, oh, actually on fish. And it was weird. And then you see...
but she said to her dad that she ate chocolate.
But I think that's just a dream, she's saying. This flashback on the island that she was lost.
And she's eating flesh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in black and white.
The guy that was found with her is missing a leg.
Oh, you think she ate his leg?
Yeah, because she was...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that.
There's a lot of cannibal things, even though he doesn't eat... Well, he say he doesn't eat it.
He said
we don't
he gave it to the cat.
But we don't see. And there's a bunch of things that we don't see that we are assuming, but it's like, do you actually trust him or her change the entirety of the story? And that's what's interesting about story number 2.
So even if it's her or not her, I think the most important is how far, like, let's say this is really happening. Okay, it's not his imagination or anything. It's how far she's willing to go to get her husband back. You know what I mean?
But it's also how far he's willing to go to prove that it's not his wife.
Yeah, as well.
So they both like dealing with this extreme where it's like this game of like chicken where like who's gonna break first, and we both keep pushing the limit of like how far we're gonna go.
Yeah.
But they both don't want to say whoa. Like what are we doing here? It's interesting. I really like number 2.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I thought it was the funnier one.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because the first one was not as funny for me, and number 2 start with more laugh. The couple is weird too. I don't know. Like I really like number 2. It's I think Jesse Plemons did a really good job in all 3, but I really like his character in the second story.
I think all the actors to me were really, really great. Gosh, it's kind of hard to address. Like, I'm not trying to put them in like in the order we saw them, but the first one to me was the saddest. Like, I felt really sorry for him, and it depicted how, because the first time, okay, so Jesse Plemons has this kind of a master, which is played by Willem Dafoe, and he literally dictates his whole life, and it's been like this for years. From his house to his wife to what he eats, everything he does is controlled by Willem Dafoe. And then one time he asks him to get in a car accident to literally kill a man. And it's the first time he says, listen, I can't do this. I'm not willing to go there. So Willem Dafoe is like, okay, then I'll set you free. And it's he doesn't control his life anymore. And he goes nuts. He's willing to do anything to get that master back in his life because he basically can't live without it. So finally he decides to do what he has to do to get him back. And that scene when they're the 3 of them in bed, so Willem Dafoe, Jesse Plemons, and Margaret Qualley at the end, is so weird and so like unimaginable. What he did to come back to his master and have his love back. You know what I mean?
But he was controlled even when he was let go. He was controlled because they basically use Emma Stone's character to control him to feel jealous. And because at the end, Willem Dafoe says something like, I told you he would come through. I told you we could trust him. So it means that they never they always expected him to actually come back, and they were just manipulating him like by saying, "Oh, we let you go now. We don't want you."
But I can't remember. So the first time he sees Emma Stone, is he banged his toe or his feet on purpose? Okay, when was that?
Like I don't know if they're in Munich at this point, but he's kind of like in a bush.
She takes the car. She comes out of the building
with Willem Dafoe, in
a red dress. Okay,
yeah.
So you think it was planned?
Well, yeah, because I think Willem Dafoe saying like I knew that we could trust him.
Yeah,
is this idea that like this whole like you're not part of it anymore, and stealing some of the gift that he took, and his wife getting taken away. All of this was part of the plan as well.
Though you think Emma Stone, when she gets in the hospital because she was in a car accident, she knew that she was being used, or she was?
I think she knew. I think all of this was a setting for Jesse Plemons to feel jealous.
And actually,
they wanted him to discover, because it was too obvious almost. Like, even when it was happening, I was like, they're really not being careful.
No, because he sees them get out of the hotel room.
The notes.
It's so funny. And I caught myself laughing a few times, even though it's super disturbing as a story. But when he takes back the racket, when he leaves her place.
I really like the first one still. I like them all, but I think the first one ended up being my least favorite in a way. I don't know why.
For me, it's the second one. But on their own, the three stories to me would be less powerful than the three of them together.
I agree. I almost feel like in terms of ordering, I would have preferred the second one to be the first one, because I feel like in terms of like how the film would have flowed,
it would have been rough for the first one though.
But I don't know. But I feel like the second one is like darker. Oh really? I mean, they're all very dark, but like just it all happens at night a lot more. It feels like. And the hospital scenes and everything, it just feels the last one to me was the more fun, light.
Really?
Yeah.
But there are deaths in the three of them. I mean, violence
and sexuality.
Yeah.
Especially the second one, I think to me was the rougher one, and the third one. The first one have barely anything, right?
Well, he literally rolls on a body with his car. To me, the first one was the saddest because he put his limit and he said, I'm not willing to do this. And then kind of leaves. And it's where you get to see the, how do you say the emprise?
The grasp?
Yes, the grasp Willem Dafoe has on him.
Yeah. He can't even order a drink.
He can't make his choice. It kind of reminded me of how Charles Manson never eliminated anybody with his own hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was all controlling other people.
Yes, controlling people. And and even him at the bar not being able to order a drink. And even him, because remember when he meets Sarah, his wife, he had pretend to hurt his hand. So she came and gave him attention.
Yeah.
And he recreated that.
I think that was all planned.
Well, how could he plan that?
I think Willem Dafoe hired the girl.
Yeah, but his first reflex to find another woman was redoing what he was thought.
Yeah, so he was stuck in this kind of
in
this thing where he was being fully controlled, and as soon as he touched freedom, he just doesn't know how to act anymore, and he just end up like saying, well, there's one thing I know, so I'm just going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Which is like an interesting thing about like the religious theme as well, of like once you've been brought up and like you built into like this black box that you don't know what's outside, it's almost scarier to be free.
Oh yeah.
And I like all of that. And I mean, I feel like Jesse Plemons in the first and second one is pretty much like the main character.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe is a pretty big character in the first one, less in the other two.
Well, he still plays the kind of the guru in the third one.
Yeah.
In the second one, he's the dad. So
he always play the father figure across.
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
Kind of.
The guru, the father figure.
Yeah.
And like always.
Because he's never the one being abused.
No.
Really.
He's always the one
You're right.
Well, in the second one, he's
want to use you. That was a great song choice.
And I really liked one little creative thing they did.
Yorgos?
Yeah, at the end of each story. So all of them had a little title, which I don't know what RMF is supposed to stand for.
Yeah, because the last one is
the name of the guy at the beginning.
Yeah, the second one is flying. The last one is eating a sandwich, and the first one is dead.
The death, yeah.
RMF, yeah. We'd have to look it up.
And then there's a little credit at the end of each film where they just list the actor, and then they have like almost like a, almost like how they used to put little footage while the credits roll in old film.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
The first one is just I don't remember what the first one. The second one though, it's the dogs. It's like the dream that Emma Stone mentioned, where dogs are running society and like humans are basically the like dogs to the dogs. It's very confusing.
They're basically like
as if dogs and humans switch places. Yeah. And then the dogs are just driving their car.
Yeah.
And then like there's just like a dead human on the road, so like they're swirling around. Like that was really fun. And then the last one is just Emma Stone just dancing for like 2-3 minutes.
But and then it picks back up, and she gets in the car accident because she's telling Margaret, who's in the back, she's like, I can't wait for you to see that boat. It's amazing. Yeah. And then she's I don't know, she's talking with
she's grabbing not water.
She's not looking the road, and gets in the car accident and bumps in a boat, which is kind of funny because that's not the right one. And then we see Margaret Qualley in the windshield.
Yeah, she goes through the chill, she dies, yeah.
And it ends like
and
that.
She's kind of this representation of like the savior to them. Right?
What do you mean?
Well, like for the cult, she's like God, because they've been looking for her. Because she's the person that can bring people back.
Dead.
And something that is across all of those, and it's really across Yorgos Lanthimos' film, is this kind of twisted realism where everything looked like the real world, but like there's 10% that is just a bit weird. And I mean, he's really getting kind of to this place where it's like he's really mastering that. But like killing of sacred deer, the lobster, it's like all of this looks right. Yeah. And it's like just something a little bit off. It's either the rule of society or the rule of the world are like a little bit off, or the way that people act. And in this one across, I felt like, again, it's almost like, are we in this current world that I'm in, or are we somewhere else that just looks similar? There's always this tint of like, you can't trust it.
Yeah. To me, it's exactly that. I'm really buying that we're in this world, and this could most likely and is happening. Like, I love true crime podcasts. I love watching everything about like cult and everything. So that to me was the scary part. The whole theme of the 3 stories, what people are willing to do to be accepted and be loved, and what is kindness in those 3 parts is violence, a lack of empathy. Yeah, it's really twisted.
And I think the last one is the only one where we moving to like supernatural, with like the fact that she actually can bring back
people to life.
Yeah. So
that's true.
The other 2, like I think there's things that are more like, is someone just imagining something? Or like, are we in a dream, or are we in reality? I think the last one is the only one that fully depart. And it's like, okay, except if like everyone is like just imagining this, right? Like we are definitely now in like a different reality.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's almost like validating the cult, because the cult technically is right then. The fact that this woman, that she had to have a twin, she had to be a certain height and weight, and they keep measuring her nipples and like her belly button, like as if like it has to be super precise.
Yeah.
The fact that in this person, if they find her, is supposed to be able to bring back someone to life. The fact that she exists and she actually can do it means that technically the cult was right.
Yeah.
Which is like an interesting thing, that you validate the idea that the cult was actually...
But then it's funny because when she gets in the car accident, she dies. Like, and she never goes to
they will never
see the
know
people again, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, as I was saying, there's people dying in the 3 stories. So it's like interesting that to be part of something, or to be loved, or to be accepted in the 3 stories mean someone dying.
Sacrifice.
Yes, sacrifice.
Some kind of sacrifice.
Some kind of sacrifice. Also, I must say, in the last part, I really, really liked the styling. Her, Emma Stone, in her like dark orange suit, and she's driving a dark purple Dodge Challenger. It was very, very aesthetically pleasing. I love the way she drives too.
Like a maniac.
Yeah. And Jesse Plemons with his hair shaved, the little glasses, and the, like beige suit, and like all that aesthetic. Willem Dafoe in a little Speedo with his just a kind of a light coat on. Yeah, it was
really cool. The sound design and the music was good too. There was a mix of like just odd music, but also like voice-based music and opera almost. For a certain like kind of like more impactful scene. Even
through the whole movie, those voices, right?
Yep. Yeah. Really cool. Really cool. The sound design.
The third part, I felt was a little long.
I didn't feel like it was longer. To me, the first one was the one that felt the longer. I actually don't know which one is technically the longer.
I would say the last one.
You think it's actually longer?
I would think. Maybe it just felt that way because it was the last part as well. And it's funny because in the third part, you know, with Yorgos, seeing his films and everything, I have this reflection where I was wondering, why did Emma Stone leave her family? You know, I was asking myself, why did she leave her husband and her daughter? And then we don't have an answer for that. So in Yorgos movies, I stop looking for answers because there's not always an answer. And I don't think it's the purpose. Like there's nothing really that would explain why she joined a cult and goes back to her husband. And because it's kind of weird that she goes back to her husband and her daughter once in a while. I
think it's really for the daughter, because it's always when the daughter's involved that she agreed to go back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I assume she just got caught up in the cult.
Yeah.
And like she just moved to be part of the cult, and that's why like they're not together anymore. But I don't think it's because
he's still wearing his ring, but she's not.
She's not?
I don't think so.
Oh, is it in the second one that Jesse? Oh yeah, no, Jesse Plemons, where we see a few shots of his ring in the first and second one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's also funny that this part where, like this girl that can bring the dead back to life.
The third part,
happened after the credit, after like the mini credit, because it's almost as if like she danced, and then you have the mini credit of story number 3.
Yeah.
And then.
No.
Yeah, and then she drive and kill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost as if by doing that, even though it is the end.
You mean if someone got up at that moment thinking, oh, it's the end?
No. What I mean is that it almost feels like it's the end of all 3 story. There's a relation to all 3, because why would you extend past the credit of a story number 3 something so critical for the story? Right? It almost feels like this idea of perhaps this idea of like whatever you seeking in, you know, those relationship or those group dynamic that, you know, is disguised as acceptance will die, and then you will be lost or something. Like there's this feeling where we are killing this one thing,
interesting,
or this one attractive thing that maybe those group or those relationship are giving you at the end, and it closes all 3 story at once.
Oh, perhaps. Really interesting. I like that a lot. That makes a lot of sense because when she dances and then it's kind of like the little credits going, she hits the road thinking, oh my God, because she was kicked out, having found the girl
is our ticket.
She's like, oh my God, I'm going back, and she's so happy. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I wonder if like Margaret Qualley in other story might be like representative of something similar, but I don't think so. In the first one, she's more of a secondary character. She doesn't represent like the ticket out.
No. But no, she's more like a accomplice to Willem Dafoe because she's aware of what's going on.
Right. So the first one, you have the RMF dying.
Yes.
And that's his ticket back into this relationship. The second one is his fake wife.
Yeah. And in the first one, he's lying in bed with Willem Dafoe and Margaret Qualley. He got back in.
Yeah, he get back in. He kills Death back in.
Yeah.
His wife potentially die, or his idea of his wife.
Yeah.
Or his real wife die, and the ideal of his wife comes back.
So
it's his ticket
justifying
back into this delusional world that he's creating for himself.
And then the third one,
it would be our ticket in, but the death is actually the fact that she won't get in. So it is our ticket until the death. I mean, there's something there, but I feel like we probably too fresh off the film.
Oh yeah, we wanted to film this episode, right? And I was telling you, I don't want to listen to like so many reviews that I can't make my idea for myself.
Yeah.
So I rather listen to myself in like a few weeks, like, oh, okay, this. I rather be.
We're just
like
unraveling
fresh.
Right now, really fresh.
But there's
something there.
That's good. I like that.
So we should rank the story.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I think like it's a whole.
It's 2, 3, 1.
Okay, I'll go 1, 3, 2.
Interesting.
Do you want to rank Yorgos?
Yes, I think so.
There's one we didn't see though.
Dogtooth. Which is funny.
Dogtooth.
Yeah, that's the one that everybody says is the closest to this one.
Gosh, we need to watch it.
I know. Well, that was our plan, yeah.
Yep.
So my previous ranking, I think, was from the bottom: Lobster, Lobster, Killing of a Sacred Deer, Poor Things, The Favorite.
Yeah.
So I think I would put Kinds of Kindness. I would say it would be Lobster, Kinds of Kindness, Killing of a Sacred Deer, Poor Things, The Favorite. So it's kind of at the bottom for me.
Yes. I think Killing of a Sacred Deer is the last one for me. Then Kinds of Kindness. Lobster, The Favorite.
Really? Lobster above Kinds of Kindness?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Poor Thing.
Do you want to talk about Thelma real quick?
Are we done with Yorgos?
I think I'm done.
I love him.
He's really cool. I mean, he's really different.
He's only 50 years old.
Well, I mean, it's not that young.
Well, I mean, he's... I think
just the way you said it is he's only 50 years old.
No, but I mean, compared to like Martin Scorsese, who's like 83 years old. I mean, I can't wait. Like, I was so grateful to get to see another of his movies in 2024. I know that it was supposed to release like before it was even filmed before Poor Things, I think you said.
No, I think Poor Things was filmed like a while back, but it was old up by COVID.
Oh, okay.
So technically it's Poor Thing that kept getting pushed back and getting closer to Kinds of Kindness. Yeah.
I remember the first time we closed the TV after I watched Killing of a Sacred Deer. I was like, I need a moment. What is happening? It's funny though, because 3 people left the theater, cinema.
Yeah.
While,
I mean, they were like there was a very old couple and then like a lady that was with a friend and left our friend there. She was just like, I need to go.
When she cut her thumb, it was like, she was like, this is too much.
I mean, it is not a normal film, but like at the same time, if you've seen Poor Things, like,
yeah,
you kind of know what you're getting into with Yorgos. Like, if you've seen any of his film, it's not like he's done one film. I guess The Favorite.
But Poor Things is not violent like
I think
this
you don't
movie.
remember that, like, in the lab of the doctor,
yeah,
she plays with corpses at the beginning.
But it doesn't last long. Like, this one is really graphic.
It's also a lot more sexual.
Yes, but it's... Yeah, anyway, people left. I understand. I really would understand.
I don't think I've seen that before.
Leaving?
Zone of Interest.
Oh, yeah.
Zone of Interest.
Some people left.
Even more people than... I think like 4 or 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, someone
I
could have been sick, but...
If you're like 1 hour and a half in...
Yeah.
It's not like the first 10 minutes is like, oh, this is not for me. Like, that I get. But like an hour and 2 hours in, like Zone of Interest, people were leaving like after an hour. It's like, there's only like 30 minutes left.
I know.
I guess like I don't know. What do? You ask for a refund?
No, you just leave.
Huh.
I don't
We
know.
wanted to talk about Thelma. So we
Yes.
saw Thelma in
Yeah.
Toronto last week.
Yeah.
And it's
It's a feel-good movie.
yeah, but
it's fun.
We just want to recommend it because I think it
Yes.
was the most like fun I had in a while in the theater.
Me too. It was, and I thought it was brilliant to do a film on a older lady who's been scammed.
Yep.
And who sends $10,000 just in the mail like this and wants to get her money back and is willing to do a lot to get it back.
And she's like 97 years old.
93, I think.
And she was watching like Tom Cruise Mission Impossible
Yeah.
on TV at the beginning. And then the whole movie is using that as like a canvas. So she's doing a lot of like Mission Impossible type things.
Yeah.
But it's kind of an homage, but it's not like cheesy or like poorly done.
It was really, really cute.
It's just a really cute and fun and like lighthearted.
And I laughed out loud
Me
like
too.
many times.
More than like Fall Guy, to be honest. The Fall Guy, who's supposed to be this good comedy, like Thelma delivered more laughs
Oh, yeah.
than that. It's probably my favorite comedy of the year. But just go watch it. It's a good summer, especially with like your parents or something like that. It's just a fun film. It's really good laughs and it's a good time. And it's a small film, so go support it.
And it was nice to see, like, one last thing I want to
Yes,
it's like, are you
yes.
done? It was really nice to see a grandmother
Yeah.
with that drive. It was great.
Yeah, it was just it was different. It was really refreshing. All right. Wait, we didn't burn anything.
Oh, are we
Kinds of Kindness. Save.
save as well?
Thelma. Big save.
Oh, and I wanted to say today we saw the trailer of the movie Long Leg. I don't know if I hadn't heard about it. You talked to me about.
I don't like
this
horror
this
film,
week.
but that looks cool and creepy.
Oh yeah.
Just because it's a criminal investigation, FBI thing.
Yep.
That gets me in. Like pure horror, no thank you. But investigation, it could be as gruesome as you want.
Investigation.
Like Zodiac.
Yeah.
Like it could be as disgusting. It could be basically a horror film, but just because there's a detective, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah, and that's coming out July 12th. So will we be doing an episode on that?
No. But
Okay.
we could actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were supposed to do an episode on Twister.
Oh boy.
So we could do Long Legs instead.
Oh, let's do that. Woohoo!
Rock and roll.
Thank you so much for listening or watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe.
And love you all. Have a great day.
Go
Bye.
Chee.